Hello, hello everyone. Elizabeth DeMornice here with our third episode of Iconic Live TV, and I am so excited to be here with you all. I am just waiting for my guest to come on to the page so that I can invite her into this conversation, and we're going to have two split screen conversations here going on. But I wanted to quickly, while we're waiting, wanted to tell you more again, or tell you about Facebook and our show. And so what I wanted to do with this show is to really create something special that would help online entrepreneurs as well as in-person entrepreneurs, people who aren't doing so much online, to really hone their beautiful personal brand and to help them get really visible. And now in today's day and age, we are so able to produce ourselves. And so just let me say something real quick. Melissa, if you can hear me, make sure to come on, and I'm going to bring you in. Let me know that you're here. Okay? So no time in history before now have we been able to produce ourselves. And so it's time to stop waiting to be discovered, in a sense, and to produce yourself. And so that's why I started this show, because one, I'm going to just produce myself. Hello, Sherry, good to see you here. But I was like, you know what, why am I waiting? Why don't I just create something that I love and where I can really serve a lot of people? But the premise of the show then is to bring people on who help others produce themselves, in a sense. And so today I am so excited to have Melissa Moore on today. She is a Emmy-nominated TV producer. She is also a regular contributor on the Dr. Oz show, as well as an Oprah featured author. And so today we're going to talk about how to get into the media nationally, as well as your local area as well. And now we're just waiting for her to come on. So I'm just seeing what's going on. Give me 1 second, and because I'm able to connect with her on here. Just a second. While you're coming on, you all, tell me where you are watching from. Give us some hearts. Let us know what's going on. And here, she's telling me something. Just a second. Again, maybe I can do a dance for y'all. Was that a heart from you, Sherry? She's saying she's waiting. Okay, wait a second. Just a second. I think she might be going into my personal page. Just a second. Because y'all can see me live, right? Sherry, you're on there. I've seen someone else who's on there. This technology, man. Because she's saying she's not seeing me live. So, just want to make sure. Thanks to those of you who are on. But again, very interesting. She is not seeing me. Let me see. Like I said, I'll do a dance for you all. I'm going to tag her. Oh, so much fun. Maybe by tagging her. There we go. She's not seeing it. Sherry, where are you watching in from today? There you go. Awesome. All right. She is in. All right, here we go. Drum roll. It's inviting her. Welcome to those of you who are coming on. We're just waiting for our special guest to get in. Awesome, Sherry. So you're watching in from Trophy Club. The thing still says it's inviting her.
Hey, I'm trying to fix my Oh, my
There
camera,
we
sorry.
go.
It wouldn't let me go on. Sorry here. Sorry for the complications. It wouldn't let me go on with my phone the other way. So
Oh, you were doing the
vertical.
back
Yeah.
camera,
Yeah,
which
the
is,
vertical. See, I'm
yeah.
learning right now. I'm going to put you on my pedestal here. Let's see here. Let me
Yeah,
get
this is
this
what's
here.
so great about Facebook Live is that we can, yeah, you want to tilt it a little bit more so we can see you.
Yeah, I'm trying to do this. I have the new big one, the big phone, and so it pops out of this little one here. Okay. Are we good
There
here?
we go.
Awesome.
Awesome.
Thank you. Sorry about the technical difficulties. You're teaching me. I'm new to this whole game. Thank you, Elizabeth.
I love it. Well, you teach me so much about the TV media, so I'm so glad that I could teach you something.
This is my first time live on a split screen, so this is pretty cool. Thank you for inviting me.
You're welcome. I mean, coming from someone who's been on a split screen on, CNN and all of
It's a
those,
little
right?
different.
A little different, but makes me feel special.
Yes, this is actually more engaging because when
It is.
when you're an expert and you're talking on a panel, you're actually just talking straight into a camera lens. You're not
Right.
talking, and you see somebody on a screen, you don't even see yourself, and so you don't know. There's a delay. I mean, this is so much cooler. Thank you.
Right. Definitely. Thank you. Now, do you have your earbud? Because I'm having a little bit hard time hearing you.
Yeah, I have this on. Let's see. Is this better? Is
I don't
this,
know, Sherry, I know you're on. Can you hear her okay? Can you tell us if you can
yeah.
hear her, if she's still on? I can hear you. I mean, it's okay. It's just not loud, loud.
Oh, well,
So,
I want it to be good. Let's see.
right, of course. Well,
Uh,
we'll get moving and maybe we can see. What if you take it out and just see what happens if it's any different? I know that sound
how's
is
that?
always better with the mic.
Is that better?
No, mm-mm,
Okay.
it's worse. So let's just use that.
Okay.
All right, well, y'all, let's get started. Again,
I'm so sorry.
woo!
Hold
Y'all, this is
on.
fun.
Hold on. There we go.
Again, for those of you who are
I
coming
told you it's
on, the
popping
reason,
off. Sorry. I now hear
what's
you.
that?
Oh no, my phone was popping off again. Okay, perfect. All right.
That's okay. That's okay. No, but before you got on, and those of you who are, I'm seeing other people coming on as well. I talked about why I started Iconic Live TV. That in today's day and age, before any time in history before now, we've never been able to produce ourselves, and now we can. And when we can, now that we can, it's so important that we do it in a great way that is our on brand, that is uniquely us, that it's not a cookie cutter of anyone else, that it really is us, and that we stop waiting to be discovered in a sense, right? And that the new celebrity is the entrepreneur because we all can put ourselves out there in any way that we want. And so I wanted to create a platform or a forum with this show to help people really step up and then be able to then stand out in a very crowded environment. And to do that, I'm bringing in experts like yourself to help ourselves to produce ourselves in a sense.
That's
Hello,
fantastic.
William. Nice to see you here.
Well, that's
And
fantastic because Elizabeth, what's important to producers is that we're looking for people who are experts and create their own celebrity because it's difficult now in cable to make a star. We want a star to be already in the making and that we just amp up their profile. And so we're looking for
mhm.
people who already are creating that. So this is fantastic what you're doing.
Great, thank you. Good. And I'm seeing that some people are coming on. See, Larry's on, Stacy's on. Welcome to you all. And to also want to welcome our replay viewers as well. When you come on later, when you come on, make sure to put, catching the replay, CTR, and so that we also know to go back in every question, any comments that you put in, either we're going to address here live if we have the time and we see it. But if not, we're definitely going to come back and respond after the live so that we really can help serve you even more as well. So without further ado, again, I want to introduce our fabulous guest. She is a dear friend of mine. She's helped me so much, and she's a light in this world. And Her name is Melissa Moore, and she is amazing. She is a Emmy-nominated TV producer. She is also a regular contributor to the Dr. Oz show. And will that start back in the fall, or are you already starting
Yeah,
now?
no, we're back in the office next month.
Okay, cool. Awesome. So we're going to start seeing her again. And then she's also an Oprah featured author. And so I am so honored to have you on today, Melissa, and for you
Thank
to
you.
share your golden nuggets with us. And so if you could, can you just tell us a little bit about your background? Because I know that the media industry, the entertainment industry isn't something that you've always been a part of. So how did all
No.
that happen?
Yeah, so I used to be a stay-at-home mom. Are you hearing me okay?
It's a little quiet, but
Okay.
for those of you who are watching, can you tell us if you can hear Melissa okay or hear us both okay?
Okay.
We're having a little hard time with the sound.
With the earbud. Okay.
Or just
Um,
keep talking. It'll be
okay.
a little bit of a delay before they can respond.
Okay,
So,
perfect. Yeah, so before I got into TV, I was actually really shy and timid, and I was a stay-at-home mom. Can you see me?
oops.
It's a phone call
Yep.
came in. So,
Yeah, and they're saying that they can hear you okay. So that's
okay, oh,
awesome. I
good,
love it.
good, because
Thank
I
you,
was so
Larry, and thank you,
nervous.
Sherry.
Okay, I was nervous. Okay, so before I got into TV, I was a stay-at-home mom. I have two kids, now they're teenagers, but I actually was living a secret life. I was ashamed about people finding out who I was related to, and
Mm,
um, and and I'll just start when in my freshman year of high school, my father was arrested, and it was obviously very, very shameful. And I changed schools, and it came out to be that my father is actually he killed multiple women, and so he's in prison. And obviously, it was deeply shameful. I didn't want anybody to know. And it
hmm
wasn't until my daughter started asking questions about our family tree that it got me on this journey. And it's kind of a long story. I made it into a book, and that's what got me on Oprah. She read my memoir, and I
hmm
had to just come out of hiding. So I understand, I share this because I understand people who are afraid to be visible, who,
Totally.
who are scared to come forward, but their story matters. And I know for me still, like to this day, it's still difficult to share my story only because it's embarrassing. And I get messages all the time from people now that say, I'm so glad you came forward and shared your story
hmm
because I relate to that. And those moments when you start to doubt yourself, it's so great to have the community reach back out to you.
Totally.
But yeah, I came from a very timid, scared, shy background, and Oprah was my first real big promotion experience of my book and sharing my message. And at
hmm
first, it was just sharing my story, but then I had a passion and a calling to help people share their story. And
Right.
what worked for me, I knew could work for other people, and I got passionate about that. And so, when a lot of people don't know this, but when I went on the Oprah show, I really, really want to impress her with a great gift. And what do you give the woman who has everything?
Everything, including multiple billions of dollars, right?
Yeah, yeah. So
Yeah.
it was a lot of pressure. I was thinking, what should I give her? I mean, if anybody watching this, like, think about what would you give Oprah? So I had
Right.
actually the idea came to my mind that my husband was corporate with UPS, and he would go and meet with different entrepreneurs and female entrepreneurs. And so he always brought up this story about a woman who this couple, these two women that created this business called Potting Shed Creations.
hmm
And I said to my husband, I'm like, go meet with those women and ask if they'll give us some products, and I'll make a beautiful basket out of it. And I go to the other woman entrepreneur, the Cowgirl chocolates, and I'll put those in, because I thought this is a great opportunity to showcase other women, in
Right.
business. And so
Right.
we brought Oprah the gift basket. It was beautiful. And the
I'm
next
sure those
month,
entrepreneurs were
oh,
dying, so excited.
well, it's good news. So, in the O magazine, they featured Potting Shed Creations.
Awesome.
So it was amazing. So it really, from the very beginning, I love supporting other women and their stories. And I think that's why I'm just so proud of you and your work and what you're doing, is because you're helping women become visible. And I think that there's sometimes a natural, feeling of shrinking and maybe who am I to share? What if I'm a fraud? What if, am I really an expert? So, and so now I'm working on Tuesdays with Dr. Oz, and part of my job is I find inspirational stories to share on the Dr. Oz platform. And I also create TV shows, so I cast and I help other people tell their story. And so that's why I wanted to connect with you, to help other women really know how to package themselves and get clear with their message so that people like me can find them. Because that's the hardest part, is finding amazing people,
Right, definitely. Let me step back just a little bit in terms of you sharing that message. Excuse me. It's a little dry here in Texas today. I've been coughing every time I'm talking. I have my water right here. But how important is it, do you feel, to share that vulnerable? Well, let me say it this way. Why is it so powerful to share a vulnerable aspect of yourself to other people in terms of your messaging?
Well, it never gets easy. I'm constantly being pushed to do that. And if anybody is an avid fan of Oprah, you'll see that she was the queen of sharing her struggle, her weight struggles. She was constantly vulnerable with her audience. That's why they loved her so much. I mean, she shared about her cocaine addiction. She shared about, having the miscarriage of her child, everything. And
sexual abuse, right, as well?
Yeah, sexual abuse. And what she did, though, what I loved about it, is she owned her story. She took it before anybody else could take it and share it. And I know it was scary for her to share her story. It's still scary to share my story and be vulnerable all the time, because you put yourself out there and you don't know, am I going to be judged for it? And then part of you, doesn't, like for me, part of me doesn't care that I'm judged, and part of me does care. Like it goes like it flip-flops, it's, you have to like live your day, but, but yes, it's what I find important about it is that it would be really boring if all we saw were the perfection in this world and the masks that everybody wants to wear. And, there's been some churches that I've gone to, and you go and everybody's in their Sunday best and they have smiles and everything's great. And you feel alone, and it's hard to connect. And I think that's what's so important, is when we, some churches have Bible studies where people actually can each other and share. But on TV, it's really important to share your struggle, because without people, it makes you. Oh, did we freeze out?
There we go. We lost connection. Are you there?
Where did I leave off?
Yeah, we froze it. You were talking about how being in certain churches that where everything is all in their Sunday best, and you feel alone, and then then you started transitioning to another.
Oh yeah.
In terms of maybe being connected.
Right. So when the first person who starts to share their real story, you can sense the energy shift. If you've been in like a Bible study or any kind of support group, the first person who has that courage and shares their story, it creates this like moment where everybody can be themselves and share from their heart too. And so
you're inviting them to.
Yeah. Yeah. So if you're the host, if you're doing a TV show, if you're on camera, it's really your job to be the one to have the courage and be the one who steps up first and shares your story. And I actually think it'll attract people who need to hear your message. If you're being yourself and you're projecting it out there, then you're going to attract the people who need to hear you, and your story.
Definitely. So speaking, I'd like to transition. I know you speak so much about brand, personal brand and all. How would you integrate that into personal branding? You have you want to be polished to get into the media and all, but at the same time, you want to allow for those rough edges in a sense, for the vulnerability to come through. How would you recommend people merging the two?
It's really about clarity. So the more clear you are on your message, and that's really coming down to sound bites and to the packages you offer, it's about clarity. So if you stay focused and share you know, from your struggle, your point, and why you do what you do. You know, that is so powerful, because in press releases, you know, media producers, we see pitch releases all the time. And if it doesn't have a story, it's not interesting. We love stories, and we want to know, did this come from, is this a creation story from a point of pain or from a learning experience? Because we find that people who have come from a point of pain or a learning experience have the most to share in they kind of have a teacher's heart already, and they're a natural storyteller, you know.
Right, right. And so, speaking of press releases and getting into the media, what would you say, and I want to get back to the branding aspect, but since we kind of went in that way, I would ask you, what would be the steps? You mentioned sound bites, you mentioned press releases. What would be the steps for someone who has a business, who wants to share it in a bigger platform, either locally or nationally? What would be the steps to go about doing that?
Well, it's being clear about your story first, and that's in your bio. And your bio is really important. You should have a bio that is professional, kind of summarizes your title, what you do, and it's really clean cut. And then you should also have a different bio that shares the creation story of how you came to create this product. You know, think of it as one of those fundraiser pages, you know, that you got to invoke passion in people. And that's what TV really is if you can evoke passion and learning in the audience, then you're a natural go to come on camera. And so with your bio, you know, have your polished bio, like the you know, New York Times bestseller that speaks about this, you know, that's perfect. We need that short, concise bio, but we also need the longer bio on what got you passionate. How did you start? How did you come up with this idea? What was the problem that you solved? And that's perfect. That's what we need to see so that we can share a story on TV, because that's what we're doing. We're just you know, storytellers.
So would that be in digital form? Are you mailing that in? And who are you mailing it to? Who are the gatekeepers in a sense?
Oh, sure. So I help people sometimes make press releases in a really small or press media kit. So I have an example here that I printed off. There's this woman who's an attorney. Hopefully you can see it. So this is her first page. She's an attorney. And on this first part, I put down media commentary topics. So you can see.
Okay, so those are the topics that she could talk about.
Yeah. So if you are, if you're like a health coach, then you should have like what you could talk about. Can you talk about gluten? Can you talk about, you know, bullet point it, make it so a toddler could, a kindergartner could understand exactly what we could talk about. Because the worst thing is thinking that we booked a talent that could talk about, you know, a certain topic, and then they can't really talk about it because they're really not an expert on it. That's embarrassing to the producer, you know, as well as the talent. So for her, she's a divorce attorney, and so she has her bullet points of what she'll talk about: spousal and child support issues, alimony. And so what was great about her is that I wanted to put her in for celebrity divorces on TV, so she could talk about that and be an expert. So this is her page one, which is her beautiful headshot and the commentary. And then the second page, because it shouldn't be more than 2 pages, it's a white background, so it's printable, and it goes into her bio. And one thing about bios is that you have to talk about what makes her different as a commentator. So think about whoever's watching right now, what makes you different to be a commentator. So for her, I wrote, as a television legal analyst, Candace is known for in-depth analysis of headline-grabbing trials, hard-hitting and unbiased interviews. And then I also said that she breaks down legalese, and that's really important. So you should be thinking about, when you write down your bio, what are you providing to the audience? What makes you different than a different expert? And that's what sets you apart. And just breaking that down. For her, you know, she's a divorce attorney. She's not going to be speaking about, you know, development, real estate. So, you know, and then also there's a million divorce attorneys out there. What makes her different? And she's really good at simplifying legal terms, you know, and that's what makes her different.
And what I'm hearing too is you don't put any fluff in there. It's just get right to the point, right?
Yeah, you only have a couple minutes.
Points and
and it's really important to have the headshot because this is going to go into a file, a digital file. And so maybe you're not a fit for this story right now, but maybe the next story you're a fit. And they have to, what the producer will do is he'll print out these 2 sheets, and then they'll bring it to the pitch meeting and say, this is who I have in mind. And it has to, a picture's worth 1,000 words, Is she camera ready? Yes.
Right, exactly. Exactly. So we would put that together, and then we would send it digitally, or do we mail it?
Digitally. So everything's digital. So what is really important about this, so this was a couple years ago that I helped her do this, but now things have changed. So what I would do different about her 2-page media kit is that I would actually have links on it to a reel. I need to see her on camera. How does she talk? Is she eloquent? Can she really do what she says she can do, which is break down complex legal things into bite-sized pieces,
Right. And as you said, camera ready.
Yeah.
She's not just, she's got the right body mannerisms and body language, and can speak, quickly, all of that, I'm sure.
Right.
As well.
Right. Oh, cool. And other thing that's important is at the bottom, you should always have how to contact you. I see that all the time where people will come up with a media kit, but there's no immediate contact. So don't forget.
That's a great point, because I think nobody can get you, right?
Well, people think, they have my email, and they have my email signature, but this gets forwarded. It could get lost. So always put your information on everything. Everything. Yeah.
And who would they send it to?
So there's different bookers. So there's a hierarchy in this media world, and really anybody can book, or anybody can pitch, I should say, to any of the executives or the supervising producers. Anybody can do that. So associates, executives, all across the board within the internal structure of a TV show. So I'll give an example. Let's just say the Dr. Phil show. There's APs, which are just the associates that help the other executives, and they can see a news article and they'll send it to the executives. Or they could pitch ideas. Anybody could pitch ideas, and then they all collaborate. I know for Warner Brothers, when I was working there, they would collaborate on Tuesdays. So what I'll just give an example. So if I want to pitch different people as talent, then I would come into the office at Warner Brothers and I would bring in this kit, or if there's a story of her in the newspaper or in People magazine, I bring that article if they don't have a press, like a media kit here. And I would bring it.
Is something that you found, or something that was sent to you, or both?
Both. It could be both. If they sent it to me, or if I found it and I think it fits the brand of the show, then I'm definitely going to bring it. And so on Tuesdays, we have a pitch meeting where all the producers, everybody in the office sits around in a round circle, and we start throwing out ideas of who we should have on camera. And so everybody has like a stack of papers of all these people, and we're like throwing it out like this is why she would be great, and you're really making the case for why this talent is so fantastic. And sometimes the executives, so the executive producers are the highest in the TV world, in the ranking, hierarchy. And so they really make the decisions on who's going to be on the show. And then it also comes down to what's the topics of the month. Does this fit this topic? If it doesn't fit this topic, maybe it's the next topic, next month, I should say. And so we always remember, though, because when we do a pitch fest on these people, we're advocates for them. We love them. We want them to be on the show. And so we'll keep pushing them maybe for years until they get on TV. And so then on Tuesdays, we have the pitch meeting, and then on Fridays we follow up, and it goes from there.
And I remember you saying that you really want to, you're promoting them. I remember you telling me that it's important to have those multiple bullet points of all the different talking points that we can speak on, because you may present to the committee, in a sense, or that, what did you call it? I'm sorry.
It's just everybody meeting panel. Everybody becomes a panel.
The pitch meeting. That, you might pitch one idea for this person, and they're like, oh, no, that's not really what we're going for this month, or maybe in October we'll do that. Oh, but she's got this other one, so that you can keep trying to get that person on even sooner, because that other topic might be so perfect.
Right. So if it, for example, if it's a health coach and maybe they're talking, maybe this month we're talking about gluten products, and you know, I pitch her as a gluten expert, and then we actually, somebody else books somebody else as the gluten expert this month instead of the person I was pitching. So then I would remember, so for the next month, maybe it's about green smoothies. And then I remember, oh, my person can do green smoothies. My health coach can do green smoothies. So then I pitch her again. So it's important in your media kit to really don't let the producers be creative. You have to spell it out for them exactly all the different topics you could talk about, and don't leave it up to them to decide what that is. Just tell them what it is, you know, make it easy for them, for sure.
Perfect. And speaking of making it easy for them, what are some steps, what are some things that we need to have put together, either already have that we can then send, or what we need to have on our website that makes it really easy for a producer to grab information and for you to be attractive to them?
I love it when I go to a website and I see press or media, and that page is dedicated to producers or anybody in the media. I love that because all the resources are there that I could pull from it. Sometimes when I have a story, I'm forced to go to Facebook to try to find a picture, and that's really bad because sometimes it's not very flattering. They have hats or sunglasses on, and it's just like, you need a good headshot. So I guess maybe I'm over, maybe I should just spell it out. Have a headshot. Yeah.
There you go. Yeah, like, I want to hear specifics, like what you told me and what I now have on my website. I have a media inquiries page specifically because of what you told me. It's not, and it's in a different format than what the rest of the website is because it's specifically for those producers. So if you could tell them what those things are that you told me,
exactly,
that is so beneficial.
So to make it simple, have a beautiful headshot, have natural light, have a beautiful headshot. And so that's one. Number two,
that they can easily use, right?
And then make it accessible on your media page. Make it so that you can print it or download it, that you don't have to take a snapshot of it. Make it so it's you can download it. Maybe it's a Dropbox or whatever. Just have it so that it's easy for me to download. I mean, ideally, it'd be great to have a 2-page, media kit like this where I could just download it and print
like a
it.
Link. Oh, okay. Ooh, okay.
Just so I could print it. So like make a PDF and make the link so that you could just, print it off, or I can just forward it too. Like I love just being able to forward things via email. Just make it simple. So there's that, have the headshot, have the 2 bios that I was talking about. And then also, what do we call you? What's your title? And that's called a cryon. So we need to know, what do you want to be called in the media? Because it's embarrassing if we have a talent on, a guest expert on, and we don't give them the proper title. It's easy when they are an author, we can say author of so-and-so book. But when they're not an author, it's difficult to come up with a title for them. So don't make us come up with a title. Tell us what it is, and that's your cryon. And
for the viewers, the cryon is, when you're seeing a newscast or something, and at the bottom, let's see where, so you can see me, at the bottom, there's the name and the title. They can, if that's on the website, bam, they just take that and they don't have to do anything.
Especially if you have a unique spelling of your name too. It's nice to make sure, like that one page, it has everything there. I could just, for your bio, if you don't have a media kit, that I could just copy and paste your bio, and then that your spelling is correct. I don't misspell it. We hate misspelling cryon names, but that's worse. But also talk about, in your bio, come from a point of view, the media bio, come from a point of view of what are you going to teach? What our audience is going to leave with. So if you're an author, we'll just go back to the health coach again, then what are you going to teach audiences? Tell me what that is. What are audiences going to walk away with, and what kind of
points of
topics? And what kind of speaker are you? Do you pride yourself in breaking down complex legal issues and making it relatable to people to understand? Are you able to teach about different health products in a way that is different than other experts? Explain how you're different and what audiences are going to walk away with, because you're a teacher, and come in it with that intention. Because a lot of times I see bios that say, she is this, she's that, she's, she's done this, but what's an audience member going to get from that? spell it out. Don't make me come
Right.
up with it, you know.
Yeah, and that makes me think of two things. It's really, it means that it's really time to step into being that expert and sharing that, right? And then
Right.
also the second thing is like, sometimes or often when you meet someone, they'll say, hey, my name is Liz, you introduce yourself. Oh, what do you do? And so often we'll say, like you just said, they'll just be like, well, I did this and I did that, and this is what I do. It's really important to say, this is how I help people.
Mm-hmm.
So, the health coach might say, well, I help people lose weight, or I help people go from sluggish to energized, whatever it is, because it is about what they're giving that audience member, right? And so
Exactly.
those are those points. And that's so much more
Absolutely.
effective because some people go, ooh, I want to learn more. Not, oh, well, that's
Right.
nice that they have that title. Okay.
Yeah, so like there, for example, exactly what you said for someone like who maybe they're a weight loss coach. Well,
Mhm,
what's their strategy? Is it, is it walking? Do they teach walking
mhm,
strategies like couch to 5K kind of method, or what do they do? What's unique about them that they're the expert in this way of losing weight?
mhm.
Make it really easy to understand. And so that just having that website page is so helpful because a lot of people don't even have that. So they'll just go
Mm-mm.
in about me page, which is fantastic, but it's not really centered for producers and understanding that you have a mind for press. And then also if you've done press, it should all be in that area too. So I can
Mhm.
I can see everything without having to Google you and find out, you went on Good Morning Texas or you've already gone on the Today Show. I see some people,
Mhm.
put the little pictures of the places that they've gone on TV. So if they put the logo of like they were
Like
on the
the
Dr.
Today
Phil
Show.
show, yeah, or the Today Show,
Right.
it needs to be connected to that video of that link of them being
Hmm.
on TV because I have to Google it then if it's not
Right. And you
attached
want to
to
make
it.
it as easy as possible for the
Yeah,
producer, right? To just go,
absolutely.
look, because it's also showing them and the show, in a sense, or the other producers, how well put together you are. That when you show up, you have you're ready to go, and they don't have to worry about you, right? Because
Yeah, it shows
you
you're
as
ready.
producers have so much stuff to worry about as it is. You don't want to have to be handing or hand holding the talent.
Exactly. And so it also shows us that you're ready because
Hmm.
sometimes we go to a website and you wonder, do they want media attention? Some people don't want to be on TV
No,
and that's fine.
no, that's fine.
But if you don't show us that you want to be on TV, that you want to be an expert, then like, how are we supposed to know that if you don't create a space for that? And it's just
Right.
as simple as that. Like, build it and they will come. Build it. Show us what
Hmm.
you are and show us that you're ready for this and we'll have you on because we're looking just as much as they are wanting. We
Right.
want experts. I mean, the hours of TV that we have to produce, I mean, so many hours. And we don't want to see the same people over and over again because it gets kind of boring. We want to have
Yeah.
diversity. We want to have new ideas, new thought leaders. And the only way we could find those people is if they rise up,
Hmm.
because for me, when I'm finding inspirational stories, what I do is I go to the local news stations and see what's trending on their local news,
Mm.
page. That's how I
Hmm.
find people. So that's another tip that people can take into consideration. If you want to go on the Today Show, if you want to go on Good Morning America, get on your local news. And that's a great clip too to show me like, can you handle the pressure of a 2 to 4 minute segment? Can you do that?
Hmm.
And if you do that on a local news station, then I know you can hold it on a national, on a
Hmm.
national level.
And speaking of that, I have two questions. One, when you have, say, submitted your information to a producer and you figured out who that is or who the different people are that you should send it to, and say you haven't heard anything, how often should you follow up and how should you follow up? That's my first
Yeah,
question.
that's a
And the
great
next one
one.
is, what's that?
No, that's a great question.
Okay, great. And then once you are kind of in that mode, what are the steps to go, to say once can't speak, someone wants to go onto the Today Show or Good Morning America. What are the steps that you would recommend? I mean, I know you said get onto the local. How many times can one just say, "Hey, I want to go to the Today Show"? What would be those steps? So, first question, how do you need to follow up with the producers? And then the next steps, like what is the journey in a sense to getting
Mhm.
to more national?
Well, that's a great question. So what you should be doing, anybody who's watching this and you want to go on national TV, you should be getting your People magazine every month. You should be watching the show that you want to get on every month, every day. So if it's The View, record it, watch it every day. What topics are they talking about? And it's called a tie-in. That's what we call it in this business, a tie-in. So say we're talking about, like, for instance, just go back to the divorce attorney that I was pitching. If there is a celebrity divorce, like Ben Affleck, like he's getting a divorce, that's a hot topic right now. So, so who's talking about him and how are they talking about him? And how could you lend to the conversation? So you should have your materials ready. The 2-page press kit should be ready, and you should email all of the morning shows that you're seeing them talk about this celebrity couple divorcing, and you should say, I can talk about this. I could talk about what's going to happen to the children, what's going to happen to the alimony. Does he have to pay alimony? Explain exactly what you can share to the conversation of this celebrity breakup. And if you're a health coach, if you see that it's, like right now, is coconut oil killing us? Like, talk about it. Who's talking about coconut oil, and send them your press release and say, this is what I would say about coconut oil, and show your passion for it. And that's a natural way of pitching yourself, and you're giving yourself a tie-in to a current story. And the best way to start that is if you see your local morning shows talking about celebrity breakups or talking about coconut oil, send them your press kit and say, I could talk about it. Or if you,
and how often would you do that?
Actually, I would stay ahead of it. So People is really, People magazine is actually a great resource because they're the most accurate in the reporting. And also they have good sources, but also they're ahead of the curve. And so that's what's difficult, is seeing a trend before it starts. So if you get a People magazine, and the best way to do it is the online version, because if you do the printed version, it comes out, I think, on Fridays. And by then it's already been, like, they're phasing out the old ones. It's just there's a lapse of a day. So depending on what market you're in, if you're in a smaller market, then it's even longer. So get the online version subscription, and then you can see ahead of time, or even Facebook, like People magazine, and you can start to see what they're talking about every day. And just make it your daily ritual every day to be on top of the topics that are in the news or coming up in the news. So you could pitch yourself. And I always, when I pitch a story, for example, right now I'm pitching stories that are similar to movies coming out. And so I follow Deadline, which is a industry print that talks about breaking news and what's being bought and sold, what movies are being pitched, who's coming, who's going to be actors and actresses in it. And so I follow that to see what kind of stories are going to be told within a year to 3 years. So I could see what the conversation is going to be like in the public. So just follow those trends. And People, I think, is one of the biggest ones, because with the local news stations, they use People magazine for ideas on what to talk about,
So would you, like, reach out to them once a week, every day?
Well, it depends. It depends.
Too much, not enough.
Well,
what's that?
Well, it depends. Like, it depends on what your expertise is. If you are, if you're a lawyer and there's a breakup every week, or what's great too is if you bring a story with you. So maybe you can tie yourself into a big story, but you could bring a story. So if, for example,
with video footage, right?
Yes. With video footage, you can produce your own B-roll, which is footage that you can share that would go along with your story. So if you're on the stage, for example, if you're like on the Today Show and you see the monitor on the back, what are they showing? Are they showing like a cooking example? Are they showing, wheatgrass? Are they what kind of imagery are they showing in your story? And then you're narrating it. You're the voiceover pretty much when you're in the studio. So if you come with, it's called materials. So if you come with materials, then they don't have to pay that expense to produce materials. So materials could be B-roll footage. It could be, you create your own video, your own little like clip of a scenario. You can also have pictures, anything like that. And that's tremendous value because we're visual storytellers, and anything you can add to the story is perfect, you know?
So would you say go just like in a general rule, just to also for you to get used to what it's like on these shows, to go to the more regional, local, and then build yourself up and just keep building and bigger?
Yes, absolutely. But even before that, I suggest they work with you and get comfortable in front of the camera and get used to hearing themselves and seeing themselves. I mean, I see people who are really rigid on camera, and I call them vagina hands.
Oh, I
where
know
they go
the
like
vagina.
this.
I'm like, don't. I
Vagina
tell my
hands.
clients all the time, don't do the vagina
Don't do
hands.
that. Yeah, like it looks
I
like
know.
I'm very professional. Like, don't do
I was
it.
working with a client just last week. I said, do not, just so you know, do not do the vagina hands.
Yeah, don't, because it makes it like I'm a professional, like it looks
Right. Well,
really, it doesn't look
people are taught
natural. And it's okay to talk with your hands and be expressive because that's okay, and then also just be yourself and get used to seeing yourself. And there's different types of people who, there's different, how should I say this? Get to know what kind of type you are, I should say. There's the rambler, the rambler, the interrupter, the too nice, the hostile person. What kind of guest are you? I think what surprised me is I watched The View one time, and they had a guest who was an author, and she sat on the panel with all the ladies, and she was hostile. She was defensive and like angry, and she never got invited back on. But I was like, well, who comes on angry? You have to have a smile. You have to be happy. You have to be passionate. Otherwise, people are going to click the channel. But there's also the interrupter. So if you're on a panel and say you're on The View, are you interrupting the ladies because you can't speak over each other? Because right now we're mic'd like this, but you'll have the lapel, and it's hard for them to edit if you're talking over each other. And you'll even say, if you watch The View, which I suggest everybody watch The View or Good Morning America, a daily show, watch it so you can see what happens if someone steps over when they're talking, how they instantly back up and then they repeat themselves because it's not good on camera. So there's the interrupter. See if you're an interrupter.
So these are all things to get yourself camera ready?
Yeah, absolutely.
Advice you're saying? Okay, cool.
Yeah, so see how do you interrupt? Do you listen to the question that's being asked? Are you smiling? Do you freeze up? Do you your body just freezes up? Know that about yourself. And then I'm sure most of the women that you're working with are not hostile.
No, I would not work with them if they are. Yeah, right? Sorry, we're not a good fit.
That's a rare one. And too nice. You need to have an opinion. In this day and age, you really do. You need to have an opinion. Even if it's not,
what I teach people.
Even if it's not a good one, have one.
Have one, yeah.
Yeah, a good example is the Cash Me Outside girl. She didn't have a good opinion. But she had an opinion of Dr. Phil.
She had an opinion.
Yeah, she did. And that's what made her stand out. She spoke her mind. If you don't like vaccines, talk about vaccines and how you hate them. Or if you are supportive, if you watch The View, you'll see they always have to have opposition. You have to to have two sides of the topic to have a lively conversation. Not everybody has to be like, oh, I agree, and it's boring, really boring TV if that's the case.
Totally. And and it doesn't have to be, is it Maury Povich who's like, the fighting, it doesn't have to be like that. But it's, and again, getting back to at the beginning of producing yourself, you can't be the cookie cutter of everything. You really have to you have to become who you want to be and produce yourself. But in that, you have to be unique in terms of what you stand for. You can't be lukewarm on things, right? You've got to really have those opinions. And it's no longer, also, I teach people about this on video, is that you don't just go, so, are you suffering from blah, blah, blah? It's, and you're not getting the money because of it. You go right to the point with an opinion and say, you know what, if you're playing small, it's keeping you broke. And then others like, what? okay, wait, I need to hear because what she's going to help me get out of that, you know?
Hmm.
And it is important to have that. So I totally agree with you on that.
And I think that's sad because what I have found, I help cast different TV shows, and that's what is sad to me is to see beautiful and smart and talented women really dismissing their talents and not showcasing
Yes.
themselves and like saying like, I'm a fraud. Who am I to do this? I'm like,
Right.
if I am looking at you and I say you have a talent, you have a talent,
Exactly.
and you own your space. It's a mantra that I actually have on my whiteboard in my room is I own my space with confidence and grace. And that's my
I love
mantra.
that.
Yeah, because I think it's difficult. It's still difficult for me to own my space and remember
Right.
who I am, and because the world will tell you all kinds of different messages, or competition is really hard. You feel like you're replaceable or someone's better than you. I mean, that
Hmm.
will kill your ambition so fast,
Oh,
you know.
totally. Right, right.
Yeah.
Definitely. A lot of it has to do with not self-abandoning. I mean
Hmm.
that who am I to do that is really truly self-abandonment. And that's not why we were placed here. We were placed here to share our gifts.
Hmm.
And who are we to not do it? You know?
Exactly. Well, what comes natural to you, dancing and being on camera, what's just breathing for you is
Hmm.
difficult for some other people. And if you
Yeah.
forget that and then you're not offering what you're offering, then they're missing out. And, I'm not an accountant. I can't do numbers. So I look for amazing accountants or, we
Exactly.
all need people with their different talents and to rise up and really be proud of what they can accomplish, and share it.
Totally. And because, the something to really be aware of is that when something comes really naturally to us and easily, it's so easy to go, well, doesn't everyone know how to do that? Why would I share that? Because if I put it out, people are going to go, whatever. And that's not the case.
No.
What comes naturally and easily to you is what you really need to stand in and to own that space, like you said, and be confident with it.
And then
Definitely.
sometimes, there is resistance when you're afraid. For me, I'm actually terrified of public speaking, and I get offers all the time to do public speaking, which would be probably crazy for anybody who's watching now. Like I'm on TV, but yet I don't want to public speak. And they're like, what's the difference? But the
Right.
difference is there's a different timing. There's a
Right.
different instead of a conversation, you're the one just talking at people. It's very different. And so
Hmm.
I have declined so many speaking events, but that doesn't mean that I shouldn't do them. I've come to
Right.
realize that that's just something I have to break through out of my comfort zone and continue to take advantage of the opportunities
Hmm.
that keep coming to me, and I'll get better over time. But and so maybe that's some of your clients. They're like, this doesn't feel natural. This doesn't feel good. Maybe I shouldn't be on camera because it doesn't feel good.
Hmm.
Um, that's that's not true. There's so many actors and actresses that have it's called performance anxiety, and so they're
Hmm.
terrified to get on front of the stage or to speak or to sing, um,
Right.
and they face it because they know that's their passion, their singing is, and they just face their fear and do it anyway. But if
Hmm.
if your clients, if anybody's watching and thinking, well, I don't feel very comfortable doing it, maybe that's a sign I shouldn't do it. No, keep doing
No.
it. You've got to do it.
Exactly.
You
Exactly.
got
Yeah, and
to.
and to get comfortable with it, definitely.
Hmm.
Yeah. I mean, I relate to what you're saying. When you said people would be surprised that I don't like doing public speaking when I'm on TV. Is that when I was a little kid? I mean, you probably no one would ever guess that I was deathly shy. I mean, like I could not, like, my teachers would tell my parents, she's great at school, but we just can't hear her. She's always really timid. She's always in the back. And when I'd be with my parents and adults would come, I literally would like hide behind them and all. But I would thrive on stage. I would love to perform. And so an introvert, but love to perform. And many performers are like that, Prince, Michael Jackson, all these people who might feel intimidated or timid in certain situations can really thrive in others. And then it's important for us to then, okay, well, where am I timid? How can I transfer what I'm really, what my zone of genius is? How can I transfer that into these other elements where I'm timid to then be powerful in that? And so it's a matter, like you're saying, if you don't feel comfortable in camera, you need to get on there because you can draw from your experiences and what you're really naturally good at into that, and that's where the magic happens, I believe. And that's why I love working
Absolutely.
with people on camera and through video, because it's such a transformational tool that they can learn to really expand into themselves.
And, you know, if any of your clients or anybody watching right now, if they're even afraid to step in front of the camera to start with, what a great tool is improv theater. Go to improv, take some improv. It'll get you to trust yourself and trust
That's a
that you
great
have
idea.
something to say. And because it's on the fly, you have to keep the, you know, the idea
Slow.
going, the flow. And then you'll see that the people around you are supporting you. Because I think sometimes we feel alone when we're on camera or we're producing something, is that, you know, you're not getting the feedback from anybody else, and you're a singular person, and you have to trust yourself. And if you don't
Right.
trust yourself yet, improv theater will definitely help. You know, take some improv classes.
There's
Yeah.
that. Yeah, I think that's a great idea. I didn't think about that, but it's so true. I have a friend, a particular friend who for specifically for that, she went and she keeps doing improv classes to be able to think more quickly on her feet, to just really be more present when she is in a public setting. I think it's a perfect idea. And that's also why I love Facebook Live too, because it's improvisational as well. You have to think on your feet. But at the same time, it's informal enough where you can make the mistake. So, when we first got started, it was
Yeah.
like, well,
I'm so
we can't
sorry.
find her. Just a second. And then, and then the camera,
And then my
I did
phone popping out of my
exactly.
tripod.
So,
Oh my gosh.
and it's
Which,
totally
yeah.
okay, right?
Yeah, well, it was totally embarrassing, but it's okay. It was my first time.
It makes you
Yeah.
human, right? I mean,
Right,
here
right. We
we've
all
got
make mistakes.
I mean, here you hang out with Oprah and Dr. Oz, and you're not always so put together. I mean, it's like you're
No,
human, right? And that makes you
absolutely.
so much more approachable. Definitely.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Cool. Well, do you have anything you want to add in terms of advice that for people who are wanting to get into the media? Anything in
You know, really
particular?
what I wanted to do is, you know, connect with you. And I think what's fabulous is that what you offer to your clients is just
Yeah.
amazing. And
Thank you.
anytime that you can have professional video and have a creation story, or why you do something, you know, why did you create that product, or why,
Mm-hmm.
you know, why are you passionate about this cause, and having a beautiful formal video, it's fabulous. It's such a great tool. So I'm so
Mm-hmm.
happy that you're offering that tool to your clients,
Thank
because
you.
it makes my job easier, makes other producers' jobs easier, so we can actually find the people who want to share their story.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And also, you know, my main intention, what I hoped people would get out today, is that if you want to get national media, you can. It's just a matter of creating a space so that you can receive it. If you don't create it and you don't
That's
put it
great.
out there, then nobody's going to find you. And you
Right.
have to create that space for us to find you.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's really important. And the materials, you know, be ready. There's different sites I can offer tips and stuff on how to get your message out there. I mean, there's Haro, you know, Help a Reporter Out, where you
Right.
can pitch, which is great. Like if you had exactly what I created here, if you had something like this, you could just send them in
Mm-hmm.
emails to reporters when you fit that.
Right.
So, I mean,
Mm-hmm.
it's already done, you know, one and done, and you can submit it to everybody all the time. Every morning you could get on Help a Reporter Out and submit, you know, and
And
that
that's
could lead,
Haro, right?
yeah,
Help a
Haro.
reporter out. Okay.
Yeah.
Would you mind after either right after or sometime in the next day or so, would you mind going in and typing in those
Oh,
links?
yeah.
I think
Yeah,
that would be
absolutely.
really
Yeah, so
so.
that would be that is a great resource, because reporters
Yeah.
are always on there looking, and then they
Mm.
send it out, I think 2 or 3 times a day, what the
Okay.
inquiries are. So if people aren't familiar with Help a Reporter Out, it's a site where reporters or authors who are creating books or writing an article, they solicit experts to interview for, say, a media piece or an article in a magazine. I know I see a lot of Redbook, you know,
Mm-hmm.
Cosmopolitan, lots of different female magazines on there. They're looking for doctors. Sometimes they break it down. It's really nice
Okay. Cool.
categories that they're looking for under. So it's a great resource. It can for me, it gets a little annoying in my inbox. It gets a little spammy.
It does. I mean, I have it. I have mine on a separate email, and I haven't been there in
Yeah.
a long time. But like, it's just like you get inundated,
You
and
do.
it's like,
But I think that's another example is if you're like, oh, it shows you the abundance of
yes.
we're looking for you, create it so we can find you.
I love that. And I love that approach because, really create the space and so that people can find you rather than you thinking, I've got to hustle here, I want to get on there. It's like, wait a second, this is a symbiotic relationship that I'm going
Hmm.
to create something that is available. I'm going to put myself out there, but you all need material as well. So it's like let's combine forces
And
and
then
create that space.
also something that I was reminded this morning when I was doing my meditation. I remember when I got on the Oprah show, I'm sure everybody here, a lot of females want to go on the Oprah show, and I was one of them. And I really wanted to meet Oprah, and I thought it had to look a certain way. That I had to create a perfect press release, and I had to do it the perfect way and send it in the most formal way. And actually, I
Right.
got on Oprah through Twitter. So
Really?
yeah, yeah, on
So what'd
Twitter.
you do? How'd you do that?
So it's crazy. So
'Cause
I
I have a
want,
friend who's gotten on a number of things because of Twitter. She'll just, name
yeah,
somebody out and,
yeah. So that's another
get
tip. Like
attention.
right now. I mean, you could go on Twitter right now and start following producers. Don't follow the TV hosts because they don't work behind the scenes normally to come up with the
Okay.
stories that they're telling. Go on Twitter and find your favorite show. Say it's The View. Go on The
Hmm.
View. And you'll see who they're following, which is a certain small number of people that The View is following, which would be their employees, which would be the executive producer. Look for bookers or producers and start to
Hmm.
follow them, and then you'll see they'll put out. This is what happened for me with Oprah is they put out we're looking for this kind of story idea, and then you can tweet back, and that's what
Hmm.
happened for me. And it doesn't have to, you don't have to outline how a media opportunity will come to you. You really can manifest the media that you want by opening
Love
up
it.
the space and then not dictating how it's going to happen. You don't have to do that. You just have
Mm.
to be open to constantly showing up and putting yourself out there, and it will come to you for sure
As the expert.
as the expert. And just
Right.
be ready. Be ready to be polished, have your stuff together to send, and you're on your way.
I love
Definitely.
that. Thank you. That's awesome. Such great information, such great advice. And our viewers, make sure to, both live and replay viewers, please put in your questions and comments and let us know. Share this with your friends, invite your friends. And you can definitely go on to my website, yourinnercelebrity.com. And at the top of every page, there's a place where you can sign up to get my newsletter. And every Friday, you'll get this show in your inbox. So you don't have to remember, wait, when did she have that show? And then go searching for it. It's already right there for you. You're going to have experts like Melissa in there coming on. And Melissa, is there anything that you'd like to share with us in terms of what you're personally doing that we can support you in?
Sure. I think what's really important to me right now is I authored 2 books. So this is
Yes,
my
that's right.
book that just came out. And so I promoted it on the Dr. Oz show. But what's why I created this book, Whole, it says it's a guide to self-repair. Why I created this book is because I want to reach women who are in trauma or in crisis. So if you know anybody who's going through a hard time, if they're touched by
Mm.
cancer, or if you believe they're being abused, please just give them this book. And I mean, it'll help them in this time. And that's why we created it, is I wanted to,
Hmm.
and that's why I'm public with my stories. I want to reach people who need support, and that's why I created this book. And so if anybody is in a difficult time, please give the Whole as a gift. I would appreciate it.
And is that in all forms? Is it on Kindle as well?
Yeah, it's at Barnes and Noble, it's on Amazon, it's Audible, it's Kindle, everything.
Perfect.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I love giving audibles as gifts.
Oh, really?
Uh, yes, you can email, you buy the book for someone, and they then get the link to it, and then it's theirs. So
That's
that's a great,
fantastic.
easy way to get whole. I
Yeah.
definitely need to read that. Now, what's the other book, the first book? Because this is your second book, right?
Yeah, this is my second book, and so this just came out this fall. My first book was called, it's called Shattered Silence. It's my memoir. It's about just really the whole process of overcoming betrayal. And so that's at Barnes and Noble as well. And that's the book that was endorsed by Oprah and everything. So yeah.
Awesome. Cool.
Yeah. But of course I'm really passionate about this one because this helps people.
Yes, definitely. Yeah. The other one is like it's you
It's my
being
story,
opening your show. Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Oh, I cannot wait. You know what? I'd love to close with questions that are kind of random questions, but my notes are on my desk, so I'm going to go over and get them and then bring them back.
Okay,
Okay.
perfect.
Sorry. Be right back.
All right.
Ooh, I can hear you. Can you keep hearing me?
Yeah, I can hear you. I
Okay,
like your
cool.
background, by the way. How cute. Is that your own studio?
My office is actually really long. It used to be my Pilates studio. I
Mm-hmm.
teach Pilates. And it was in this room, this long room, and then it went into the hallway and into my husband's office. I've turned this into my studio and office. The Pilates equipment is over there now. And
Awesome.
so this is like, if you see me, usually I'm further forward at my desk. So this is kind of in the distance. And I thought today, why not, have a nice little chair and, sorry.
All
And
good.
there we go.
Mhm.
And have a, more like a talk show talk of feel to
Yes,
it.
love
All
it.
right. So, y'all, Melissa doesn't know what I'm going to ask her.
I don't.
So
I try to ask ahead of time, like, what are you going to ask
I was
me?
like, no, we're gonna go.
Okay, we're gonna.
Okay, Larry actually asked, Manifest the Media, love it. He's curious, what is Melissa's favorite meditation channel or resource?
Ooh, I love Deepak. It's on YouTube. It's
Hmm.
called Carefree Meditation, and it's
Okay.
15 minutes long. And I love it because in Carefree Meditation, it really breaks down all the things that makes us anxious or worry about,
Mm,
or everything about the day that you're scared of or you don't have control over. It helps you to realize it's okay that you don't have control. So Carefree
love it.
Meditation, Deepak, it's on YouTube. It's great.
And is it the same one every time? Or is
Yeah,
it a
it's the same
series?
one.
Okay.
No, it's the same one. I just listen to it every day, and it may be boring, but I hear something new every day, when I listen to it.
Right,
I
definitely,
get something
right.
out of it, every day.
Cool, awesome. Love it. So thank you, Larry, for that question.
Yeah, great
Definitely. All
question.
right. Yeah. All right. So, Melissa, if you were granted one wish, what would it be?
Oh.
Mm.
um, oh, that's such a good question. I'm trying not to take too long to answer.
Oh.
I think honestly that I think it would be that we all feel safe to be ourselves in this world. That everybody
Mm.
can live in a space of non-competition, that we all embrace each other. I think that would be
I
ideal.
love it.
Hmm.
Right, definitely. And really, I mean, and we definitely can live that way,
Hmm.
right? And we can
Oh
live in
yeah.
abundance mentality. We don't have to live in competition because there's more than enough for everyone, you know?
That's what I love
I mean,
about the Science of Getting Rich book. I
yeah.
love that book because it talks about the competition realm and the creative realm. And I
Mm-hmm.
try my best to live in the creative realm, but obviously sometimes I get scared and live in the competition world. And
Yeah.
just it's a good reminder, you
Right. Well,
know.
then that's scarcity, right? Because we
Hmm.
think, oh my gosh, there's not enough for everybody, so I better
Yeah.
hustle and all. So definitely. All right. If you could instantly be fluent in another language that you currently do not read or speak, which would it be?
Italian. I just got back from Italy and I
I thought
love the
that might be
people.
it.
Hmm. Love the people. Yes, Italian. Mhm.
Awesome. If you could have a starring role in one film already made, which movie would you pick?
Ooh, still Magnolias.
Awesome. A certain role?
Shelby. That'd be
Okay.
Julia Roberts'
Cool.
role. Yeah.
Awesome. If you were to be recognized by posterity for one thing, what would you like to be known for?
Love.
Love?
Love, yeah. That that's actually a goal of mine because of my father. He really tarnished our family name, and
Hmm.
he hurt a lot of people, and I would like to help a lot of people. So I guess
Hmm.
to sum it up, love, you know.
Perfect.
Yeah.
think that's a beautiful answer to close with.
Oh, thank you.
Yes, thank you so much for coming on and taking the time to share such awesome information, such beneficial information to so many people. And I know that a lot of people were on, but also even more are going to be on the replay. So thank you so much for blessing me and blessing everyone who's going to be watching. You just are such a light in the world, and I feel so blessed. So thank you so much,
Thank
Melissa.
you. Likewise,
Yeah,
likewise.
thank you. I'll see
Thanks.
you later.
All right,
Bye.
bye.